Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada, you know we love you in Africa, the Big C tribe. But there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on a beautiful November the 8th, 2018. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, we're rolling halfway through the NFL season down here, watching everybody getting stagnant. As far as the playoffs run going, got players and teams falling out the chase. People still talking about Le'Veon Bell again, who don't give a damn about the
You don't care.
We're enjoying ourselves down here.
Yeah, it's always good in love and war. I just want to say that everybody out there in the sports universe, we've been having some technical difficulties with our Big C phone line ever since the obstruction was happening down south, and we were talking about it, and it's amazing how sometimes our phone lines are having some issues today. So I apologize for any different sound, but we'll get through it on the Big C Sports Show. Big C, I just know that everybody's loving this time of year. People are actually out voting. People have actually gone out and exercised their constitutional rights. And I'm really impressed to see people who are they're more than just sports people. So whether it's NBA basketball, NFL football, there's a lot going on in the sports universe. I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac leaders, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, I'd be remiss if I did not just mention, it's hard to even keep going this route. We used to do the Big C Sports Show at sports bars throughout Northern California just about 3 years ago, Big C, and we would sit down and eat chicken wings, and there was a garlic chicken wing that we would all try, and you would call in from down south on your boat and say, hey, how about y'all get some catfish restaurants out in Northern California? And we didn't have a good luck finding them. But when I hear of a tragedy that happened in Southern California, Thousand Oaks, that's in my state, that's in my neck of the woods, and I hear about, I just tired of hearing that, but the mothership came on and they gave their thoughts and prayers, and they said, but we're going to talk about sports. Imagine if that was someone you love. I'm talking to people dumb enough to listen to people that say, we don't want to talk about politics. Thoughts and prayers mean nothing, and then we're going to talk about sports. Where can people get a heart, Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, the tragedy occurred in a sports bar on, Sherman Oaks, California.
Yeah, Thousand Oaks, yep.
Thousand Oaks, California. And unfortunately, we lost the lives of some American citizens. Over a dozen American citizens, Charlton, lost their lives. And amongst those, Charlton was a police officer.
Yeah.
Who did his call to duty. He went in to face the assailant, Charlton. He didn't back away. He didn't run. He did what he signed up for. Protect and serve the community. And unfortunately, he lost his life in this cruel act of unhumanity today, Charlton.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm bothered the most by all these incidents, Charlton, 2018 in America. And like I said, I'm not good with math. I
Yeah.
don't know how many days we've had this year.
Yeah.
But I know we're in November.
Yeah.
We're close to 300 days this year, or a little more than 300 days.
Yeah.
We've had 307 shootings, mass shootings.
Yep.
That means more than one person has been shot. Mass shootings this year in America. And this goes under the rhetoric, and I don't care what people say. I know we just came out of an election. The rhetoric that's spewed by those in power have emboldened these people to do this.
Yeah.
307. Sit down and count it up, people. Every day this year in America, there's been a mass shooting. And let me tell you the most salient part about this, Charlton.
Yeah.
It's all been done by Caucasian males.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And this is not a racist thing. If you want to Google this damn thing, Google it. We've had 307 mass shootings in America in 2018 by white males. Listening to the rhetoric, we're going to take our country back. We're going to take things back the way they were.
Yep.
We can do what we wanted to do and get away with it. That's what these people are understanding and listening to. They may not listen to the entire message that they're being spewed out to.
Yeah.
But they take the parts of the message
Yeah.
And we can do what we used to do. That's what they hear.
Yeah.
307 mass shootings in America. This is almost like a war-torn country, Charles. And everyone in that party wants to say, well, it's not because of the president's rhetoric. It's not. Why are they telling the tone it back?
Yeah.
Why are they telling the tone it back? You got people who listen to you, who believe in every breath that you take, and they take it to heart against other American citizens.
Yeah.
But you think about this. If any of these shootings have been done by a person of color, look at the vitriol and film that would be spewed out to the media and other Americans, Charles.
I agree.
But because these people look like the people that are delivering the news every night, Charles,
Yeah.
it's quiet. But these are white males. And I'm not being racist, I'm being factual.
Just Google it.
Google this stuff that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Google it. These are the white males, 307 mass shootings in America in 2018. Do we hear any drawback from the NRA?
Yeah.
This is the First Amendment right. We had the president last week talking about taking away birthrights from American citizens.
Yeah.
And we got all these people that talk about the right to bear arms. Yes, you do have the right to bear arms. And yes, killing of Americans is going to become a common thing now because it's the Second Amendment right.
Yeah.
The president can overturn the Fourth Amendment. Why can't he overturn the Second Amendment with an executive order?
Yeah.
And people can say mental health is that's a weak excuse, Charles.
Yeah.
That's an escape clause.
Yeah.
Because the person is white. All of a sudden they got mental health issues if they're white and they go out and shoot up a mass amount of people. No, they're doing what the messenger is telling them. The messenger is telling them something and they're carrying out his message. All you have to do, you have to read the Second Amendment. And I don't know if everybody's intelligent enough to read the Second Amendment about the rights to bear arms.
Yeah.
It says against tyranny.
Yeah.
Against an invasion, against a country trying to take us over. We're not going to have that in America. It's not going to occur. I don't know if anybody's watched the news or kept up on, modern times. It's
Yeah.
not going to occur.
Yeah. Yeah.
This senselessness, Charles, it keeps going on. Whether it's talked about on a sports program or on the news, it's never going to be given enough attention. But this is the biggest crime that we have in America.
Yeah.
Senseless loss of life every day. And it happens in the athletic realm. We've seen athletes lose their lives.
Yeah.
Big shot. Joe McKnight was shot 2 years ago in New Orleans.
Yeah.
They had a stoplight. Okay? We've had many other athletes. We had the defensive end for the New Orleans Saints that lost his life, in a road rage scenario.
Yeah.
It's been on the Super Bowl winning. So this happens in all walks of life, Joe. But to have this continuously happen in America, everybody knows somebody who's been affected by violence.
Yep. Yep.
The violence that we have in this country, supposed to be the safest country in the world, is all of a sudden very unsafe.
I think when we, as people who have access to the airwaves, that's why we always want to say Google it. You don't have to like anybody. Just know they're telling you the truth. Sometimes the people who tell you the truth, they're people you don't like, and maybe you don't like them because they tell you the truth. But it's easy to like somebody who's lying to you just to make you feel good and blow smoke. And one of the things, because I love the sports angle and politics included, being that the tragedy happened in a restaurant/bar, a lot of sports fans go into the sports bar to break bread, to have a bite to eat, to have a libation. And in those establishments, I want to go to the mothership because they keep claiming how they have the number one everything and they have the sports leader and all that jazz, the worldwide leader. But they were in an establishment just like that down in Texas for the Dallas Cowboys and Tennessee Titans football game. And now for this to happen in an establishment just like that one in Thousand Oaks, California, not that far from downtown LA, where a lot of the sports teams play, from the Lakers to the Clippers and USC, etc. This is in the heart of Southern California, between the sports universities. But to act like we're a sports show, so we don't want to talk about what happens on a sports bar. Well, you've been to sports bars in Oakland, California, and I think it's so. I want to know who's running these programs that only Big C Sports can try to bring our country together doing this. If you have the type of program director that says, we don't want to talk about that, that's political, then why do you go to a sports bar? Then why do you go out and sit among the people and break bread and eat food and drink libations? But when a tragedy happens at the sports bar, we can all be a solution. We don't have to sit silently like we're all dumb. We can all be a part of a solution. Big City, the only way you become a solution is to talk about it with smart people. That's why, again, I ask our brethren in the same business, don't just leave it to CNN and Fox and ABC News, CBS, NBC. Oftentimes, we reach more people than they do. So if we can bring our country together by saying, what's the solution? That's better than saying, we don't want to talk about it, Big C. Your thoughts? Wow.
You shouldn't have to have armed guards to go to a house of worship.
Exactly.
That's a sanctuary of God.
Yep.
Okay? That's where you get peace with your God, where you sit back, you get in tune with yourself and with your religion.
Yeah.
And now we go from there to a sports bar on the other coast, Charles, where you're going to relax and enjoy the company of others who have a common interest, whether it's listening to music, watching the games on the television, Charles.
Yep.
Or even just talking. And now to go to places where once were comfortable in America, Charles, are uncomfortable.
I know it.
You can't even leave your home. That's what's wrong with America, Charles. But when you sit there and say, well, people have the right to bear arms, so you can go out and buy a banana clip and put it in a 9mm and go in and shoot as many people as you want, reload and start shooting again.
Crazy.
That's the right to bear arms in America, Charles. You know, when the Constitution was written, it was written with men carrying muskets.
Yeah.
One-shot armory, Charles.
Yep.
One-shot.
Yep.
So I'm not against the Second Amendment, but take everything down to a one-shot weapon, period.
Yeah.
Unless you're in law enforcement or in the military.
You know,
Being a private citizen, you have to have a weapon that will only shoot one bullet, and then you have to reload it. Then you have a chance, Charles.
Yeah.
Incidents, Charles, when they're going in and ambushing and murdering.
yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
And the president said, well, if they had his story would be tonight or tomorrow when he comes out, well, if they had armed guards at the bar, then this wouldn't have happened.
Like an OK Corral.
It was former military, Charles.
Yeah.
Military.
Well trained.
Trained by the U.S.
Yep.
Okay? The police had been called to his place within the last 2 months about him having anxiety attacks and him being agitated. They said that he was okay.
Wow.
Because he was former military, they didn't bother to take him in, Charles, for observation or examine anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was white and former military.
And you know, I want to. I mean, I love what you're saying because you're down south. So you see a lot of things. It's not popular to talk about what's real because people want to lie to you so much. But I just want people to keep in mind because Big C Sports is heard all over the universe, especially by people who are conscientious. And the same way we have sent military personnel down to the border to try to destroy some people who are trying to flee the same type of pain that was just caused in Thousand Oaks, and they're saying that Mexicans are rapists and murderers. Well, they want to. That's caused a stereotype and a xenophobia against people of Mexican descent. I wonder if the president will say the same thing that white men are murderers or mass murderers, because that's the profile of what's happened. That's the FBI statement. That's not Big C Sports. You can Google that. But since when will he ever come out and demonize white male behavior? That's the same thing that we've all been fighting against, Big C. The lies that come out, and no matter who you believe in, Democrat, Republican, is deeper than that. When you can denounce a whole group of people because of their genetic makeup, and you do it with impunity, no one calls you into check, and I think that's incredible. It's a shame. I just want to touch on this one more thing, and I know we'll touch on some more things in kind of an abbreviated show today because I want to pay like a moment of silence to the victims again in Southern California. That's in my neck of the woods. I know that when I hear people, I've been to services, we've all had people that we've lost. I mean, this is real talk. Don't tell me my thoughts and prayers are with you. Man, what'd you think of that game? Well, what'd you think of LeBron James last night? Oh, let me tell you, what about the Minnesota Timberwolves? What, you think of Steph Curry's going to score another 40 points? Don't tell someone my thoughts and prayers are with you as you're going to get some lachrymose speech to say, hey, I'm sensitive to you. And then 10 seconds later, you start talking about sports. Anyone who's ever been to a service, their lives have changed forever. And if you're going to come on the networks and start seeing that our thoughts and prayers are with you, then show it. Do a 30-minute segment on how we can change this system, how we can hopefully have some type of gun control. Thoughts and prayers don't change things. It's the law that will change things. And I know you want to have a sports show, but your sports people lose people too. And for people looking for solutions and answers, they can't get it if we're too intellectually vapid to talk about it. I know you want to watch the game. These people were watching sports games too. But how do we... There's a gentleman that had an LA Dodger hat on. He's in LA. He lost his 22-year-old son. He gave a lacrimal speech, but it was from his heart. He didn't say my thoughts and prayers with my son. He prayed for his son and asked God to watch his soul. That was real. He loves sports too. Had a Dodger hat on. For any program that says, oh, we don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, quit saying your thoughts and prayers with anybody if you're so intellectually vapid that you want to talk about a solution. Fix to your thoughts. Google it. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep. 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 And I yeah. Nope. Yep, and that's something you can Google that. And it's so important that you just Google. Don't worry about what Big C Sports is saying it, or CNN, or Fox. Just Google. Don't let people hoodwink you. We got to know what's the profile of a person who's going to do a mass shooting. What's the profile? Yeah. And they've never been demonized as rapists and murderers, and that's something we got to stop. That vitriol coming out of no matter it's the POTUS, no matter it's some school teacher or Governor Wallace from back in the day. There's a reason it keeps happening, because there's never any price to pay. Yeah. I remember that. Educators, yep. Yep. Yeah. And you know, yeah, it's a fact. You know, ironically, Big C, I have a divorced family, and I have some Mexican Americans in my own family, and sometimes they face such racial enmity because of this climate, whether it's ICE or whether it's the same thing about building a wall and sending them back to where they came from. I also have some Native American friends that also say, had this country taken on the tone that they're taking on now, then the Native Americans were still on this country. I just believe in being intelligent. The only way things get better is when we talk about it. Big C, I want to make a transition to some sports talk in our abbreviated show. And I just want to touch on something that happened here in Northern California. Today, Willie McCovey, it's called Willie McCovey's Day, celebrated here in San Francisco, and his life being celebrated by the San Francisco Giants. Willie McCovey also has a restaurant in Walnut Creek, California. Just like you own restaurants, Big C, he was a guy that played sports and went on to greater things after sports and owning business. The way the San Francisco Giants have honored African Americans is very touching to me. You know, McGowan and Uberoff, those guys have done such a great thing to honor people. Again, McCovey was born in Jim Crow, played baseball in Jim Crow. Black Americans didn't have the same opportunities that we have to this day. And the same thing happening to Mexican Americans with this racial enmity and xenophobia. They played baseball in front of that. We talk about how baseball was integrated by Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson faced such racial enmity because the same climate that's happening to Mexican Americans. And people say, well, that's in the past. No, they had to deal with that. And they fought through it by not being silent. They raised their voices about it. That's why I'm embarrassed that programs like the Mothership, they act like they're all dumb. Like they don't even know we had a civil rights movement. They should be denouncing racial hatred the same way Big C Sports does. Because a lot of sports fans are from diverse environments. Today, Willie Mays, so many people, they were talking about Orlando Cepeda, Juan Marichal, Willie Mays. How many great players played the game back in the day, men of color, that dealt with Jim Crow. Yet they shouted it down, Big C. Why can't we get other sports programs to say, hey, you know, we need to talk about those things too. Don't just tell me how great that he was as an athlete, that you love Willie McCovey as an athlete. Talk about what Willie McCovey went through that he denounced, and that's why we ended segregation and Jim Crow behavior. They denounced it. Why can't we get other sports programs to be a part of that too, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Jane Kennedy. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
I didn't make any place on my own. Even when I made professional football, the people I want to thank were my parents.
Yeah.
Because they gave me an opportunity to be alive to do that.
Yeah.
To get a college education. To move on to the next level. And to broadcast. You know, they gave me a voice where I could utilize it. They forced me to get the intelligence that I needed.
Yeah.
And I don't mean force in a bad way. Because they made it, you know, their priority that all their children got an education.
And you gotta read. You gotta read.
So by doing those things, Charlton, I didn't get here on my own because if I was on my own, and you think about it, put a child by himself, let him raise himself and see how far he advances in life.
Not very far. Not very far.
All they learn how to do is walk.
Yeah.
They never learn how to talk because they're by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't pick up language. It's not something that you gain, it's something that you learn.
You learn it. Yeah. I agree.
When people want to sit around and say, I made it on my own, I got here through hard work, then you got here on the shoulders of others.
Somebody else.
Lifted you up to get to that pedestal.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to play professional football, Charlton. I didn't get that opportunity on my own. When I think about it, and I want to get to it, you know, we're talking about people who lost their lives. Wally Triplett, Charlton, lost his life today. He's 92 years old. Nobody knows who Wally Triplett is unless you know about pro football. Wally Triplett was one of the 3 first black African-American players drafted into the NFL.
Yeah.
3 were drafted in the same year. Wally Triplett was the first African-American to play a down in the NFL, Charlton. The first. And you ask a player today, Charlton, who is Wally Triplett?
Yeah.
They won't know who Wally Triplett is. But in 1949, Charlton, before any of them were born and probably their parents were born,
Yeah.
Wally Triplett was drafted out of Penn State. He was the first African-American player in the NFL to play a down. They were talking about Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
But the NFL does not pay tribute to Wally Triplett, Charlton. They're the first African-American to go out and take a snap at the line of scrimmage as a running back in the NFL.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
Why I mention that, Charlton?
Yeah.
Because we don't realize what got us to the point. If Wally Triplett had never played in the NFL, I may have never got a chance to play ball.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
They be better than people we thought they were. We know they're better than a lot of people we got on the team.
Yep. Yep.
He was a trailblazer. And the NFL needs to have a tribute to him this weekend, Charlton. His number needs to be on the back of every helmet or the shoulder pad of every jersey.
Yeah.
And the young players today in the NFL need to understand who Wally Triplett. I know this is a day of tragedy in America, Charlton. We lost the lives down in the nightclub.
Yep.
Wally Triplett passes away, Charlton. But all of those lives are significant in America.
Yes, they are.
He
Yep.
lost his lives in a sports bar. He lost his life after causing the color barrier in professional football, Charlton.
You know, I think that's important, and it's one thing to have access to the airwaves, but just don't be dumb. It's an insult to every learned person that's ever worked as hard as they could to send their kids to college, especially to my black brethren. And quit saying I gotta wait till the white guy gives me the opportunity, or he might fire me, or he won't let me talk about it. White men have never done anything in this country to fight for civil rights until black men said we want them. It's just like sexism and racism. If you don't say, like the Me Too movement, women started saying, I'm tired of that behavior. I don't want to have to pull my pants down to keep my job. And now guys like Matt Lyra, off the air. Bill O'Reilly, off the air. There's a lot of them out there. Weinstein, he lost his power. Only guy in jail is Bill Cosby. The white guys are set free. Google that. Why is that the case? At some point in time, don't be the dumb sycophants.
That's the case, Charlton. All the white guys are paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Sexual assault, sexual misconduct.
Yep.
They were all paid millions of dollars. And you said they locked Bill Cosby up. He's the only black man of power in the media industry to go to jail.
Yep.
The only man to go to jail. All the white guys in the media industry got paid millions of dollars to just go home.
And why is that?
Go enjoy your life.
Yeah.
We're going to lock Bill Cosby up, but and that will take the attention away from you.
Yep. And
That's what it's occurred. You haven't heard anything. You haven't heard Matt Lawler being charged.
Nope.
Hill being charged, Charlton.
No.
Bill O'Reilly being charged. Any of these guys. You know, what was said? Well, you destroyed their lives. But, you know, you didn't destroy Bill Cosby's life.
Yeah.
You only destroyed the white guy's life because women came out to expose him for what they've been doing. And we're talking about Bill Cosby. They're talking about statute of limitation on him.
yeah.
These other gentlemen, Charlton, we're talking about within the last 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's something that if you are a person of color and you understand what Dr. King went through, Malcolm X, W.E.B. Du Bois, you think about every person of color, we meet the profile, and it may be painful, but it's true. The people who were lynched look like us. They look like the guys that do Big C Sports. I would be anathema to my own soul not to talk about things that keep us safe, because I don't want it to happen again. A lot of us happen in our country. I love sports, but I'm not a dumb guy, so I can't just talk about, hey, Big C, the Giants got good. You think the Giants can beat the Niners coming up? I don't know, Big C. What do you think, Big C? I mean, that's not me. That's for dumb people. I want kids to be smart, and I don't want to be, you wouldn't give your baby just sugar water. Give them some nutrients. I think Big C Sports passes nutrients in the world of broadcast. I will never stop being that way. I'm not trying to ask some white guy or mainstream, hey, is it okay to talk about stuff that's real, or do I play this buffoon that has a job on the airways talking about, man, can you believe how great LeBron James is? Oh my God, this is the best guy I've ever seen in my life. Enough of that garbage. Our grandparents and parents will be embarrassed. Back to the great day in San Francisco. Love the fact that Willie McCovey, as a black male, was so beloved because he spoke out against prejudice and hatred and xenophobia and bigotry. They put a statue of the man, McCovey Cove. That's an example for every brother or African American person. Because you can't wait for the white guys to do it. They never do it first. They always follow. I'm just saying this. You got to go to your station directors and say, how can we stop this problem the same way Willie Mays did, the same way Willie McCovey did. They all spoke out. Big C, Muhammad Ali spoke out. That's why we're free now. Don't go back to just being a sycophants guy on the air, bragging about football as if your life depends on it. That's embarrassing. I love what the Giants are doing for the guys that wore the orange and black. There's so much to their families and for the next young generation of kids to come. I met McCovey back in the day, Big C. He's a tall figure. They called him Stretch. They called him the Big Mac also. He's a guy that's just down to earth. You wouldn't even know he played baseball unless he told you. Because he treated everybody with such respect. Big C, they have to be honored by not being quiet, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think about so many voices that are silent now about what allowed them to get there. We talk
Yeah.
probably can take them when they're 15 years old.
Yep.
But when we look at these American athletes and everybody revels about them in the highlight shows, even after a game, talking about, wow, how great he is.
Right.
You think about it in America, Charlton, and we're not talking a long time ago. 60 years ago, you didn't see these black athletes on television.
Sure didn't.
They were not allowed to be on television. They were not. We take it for granted now.
Yeah.
But 60 years ago, these black athletes were not on television in America. You go back and find some footage in 1958 of any game show, they weren't there.
Yep.
There were very few of them in 60. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
And so we take it for granted now that it's always been this way. It hasn't. It has not.
Yep.
It's been a fight. And you think about all the black athletes that get to play now, Charlton. There were black athletes who had to fight for the opportunity for them to play.
They sure did. Yeah. 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 Anyway. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And you look at that. You look at the college program. You think about when Miami was on top of the East. They were on television talking at least every other week.
Yep.
And they had a plethora of black players. USC was the same thing with Pete Carroll. When he was the coach, they were always on television every other week.
Yeah.
They were just running with it. And you look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has been an integrated school for some time. But they spend more time now on television talking when you look at the number of black players that they have on the team. They spend more time on the Chip Kelly. Kelly as head coach.
Yeah.
Versus they did with Aaron Parsegian. Okay?
Yeah. That's true.
And they have a better team now, but they have more black players than what they did with Aaron Parsegian.
Yeah.
And so people look at that, though, and they say, well, it's still the same, Charlton. Because of the minority players, you allow the games to be broadcast. If you watch the games that are broadcast on a national level, Charlton, you'll see the college players, there's at least 60% minority players that are starting in these lineups, Charlton, on these college teams.
Yeah.
On the nationally broadcast games, at least 60% minority players in lineups.
Yep.
50 years ago, they were not there, Charlton.
Yeah.
They were not there 50 years ago in those lineups. So when people want to think that the landscape has changed, Charlton, if you ever saw Arkansas and Texas game, Charlton, in 1970, you wouldn't even go back to the
Yep.
go back to when Richard Nixon was president, they were playing for a national championship. Arkansas and Texas.
Yep.
There wasn't one black player on the field, Charlton. Arkansas and Texas. You look at a Texas team now, Charlton. There's 65% minority players on those teams.
Yep. I think that's so true. That.
So when people say, well, you guys have got to break, no. You guys are earning money off of it in every aspect. They're there because they're beneficial. If the African-American player was not beneficial in sports financially, he would not be there. When they say Jackie Robinson crossed the color line in sports, Charlton,
Yeah.
no. Finances crossed the color line in sports.
That's fine.
Branch Rickey and the rest of the National League say, hey, these Negro League parks got a lot of people in them.
Yeah.
If we can get half of that attendance now paying in our park, it's worth it to hire a couple of like that.
That's. Yeah.
The games alone will more than pay their salary,
Yep.
but we will also eliminate the competition. Think about what the NFL has done with collusion in eliminating the World Football League, the United States Football League. You squeeze them out. Major League Baseball did that first, Joe.
Yep. And they've always tried to do that. That's why I encourage, and I hear it because I talk to so many athletes and also business people and lawyers. They oftentimes I have white people asking me, so why don't the other black? And they always put it on the black guy. Why don't the other black guys talk about things that can keep their kids safe, like social inequality and things that we can do that we can make a change to, like Muhammad Ali did? And they'll praise Ali, but they won't do what Ali taught them. Okay? And I ask the same thing. Why don't we get our white brethren to do it? So I say we're all brethren. Jamil Hill is the only one that has character on the mothership, and they relegated her. Yeah.
She had more stones than the man did, okay?
She did.
She had more stones than the man on that man.
Yeah, and I challenge any of my young people that watch and that compliment me and say, man, you guys are different. Again, Patrick Willis, Adrian Ross, a lot of NFL athletes that we talk to, NBA players, they say, well, where's everybody else that talks like you guys? We just say Google it. It's not patting ourselves on the back. I want everyone to Google. If you can't read, Google. It's just important, Big C. I want to just say on our abbreviated show, in honor of respect to the families, like the mothership says, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Let's talk about sports. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people, the victims also. So we're gonna bring up issues that people should pay attention to. Like when Emory comes out of the Oval Office, and we see the reaction of it. You drop a pebble in the water, there's a ripple effect. We're seeing the ripple effect Google-wise happening. I want to just get your thoughts real quick, Big C, because we're here in Northern California. Tonight in the NBA, Northern California Golden State, two-time defending champions, the land of vibranium. They play the Milwaukee Bucks tonight with Giannis Antetokounmpo. They just got beat up there in Portland. Now they come down to Golden State. It's going to be a tougher win tonight. Golden State's not playing with Draymond Green, and even I think Sean Lewis is also out of the game, but they still should have enough to defend their home court versus Milwaukee. And I bring it up because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came out of Milwaukee when he was Lou Alcindor, came to the Lakers. As a conscientious man, there was a picture, I can't remember who was all in it, but I know Jim Brown was there, Kareem was there, Ali was there, Malcolm X was there. There's a lot of men that were talking about how do we make it better for everybody, like Willie McCovey and Willie Mays did. And for many of our brothers now on TV, quit waiting for the white guy to lead the charge. They're never going to do it. They're comfortable. They want to see an intelligent person, not a sycophant. So when we see what happened in Thousand Oaks today, we got to know it came from POTUS or people who spew that negative hatred. You drop the pebble in the ocean, and now we see the ripple effects of it. We know that's the case. Don't pretend it's not. But Kareem also, Lou Alcindor, and also as Kareem, they spoke about making things better. That's why things are better now. Big C, we got to continue that. Just give me your thoughts, though. Milwaukee at Golden State tonight should be a fabulous game here at Oracle Arena. Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is a team, you have to be able to run with the Warriors. This is a team, so, people look at them when we play playground basketball.
Yeah.
But it's structured.
Yeah.
These are guys that go with the hot hand. It's not a lineup that relies on one individual to carry the team, Jonathan. At any point, any of the four guys can knock down 30 points in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And no one does shit about that, Jonathan. They just go with the flow. And if the pressure went on the Duke, Jonathan, they put a body on him.
Yeah.
They'll let him get his points. They just won't let the rest of the Bucks beat him.
Yep. So it should be a fabulous game, Big C. Also tonight on our abbreviated show, the NFL is fantastic. This could be a preview of the Super Bowl. Maybe people say it, not really, but it could be. You have Carolina 6-2 at the Steelers 5-2-1 at 8:20 p.m. kickoff Eastern Time on Fox Sports and the NFL Network. The Steelers are favored by 4. And while they have it rolling, they're doing some things right. I think the key for Pittsburgh is if Big Ben doesn't turn the ball over a lot. We have Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey on the side for the Carolina Panthers. James Conner's actually, he's filling in his role. A lot of criticism, been much maligned, but he's filling in his role. But it's really about Big Ben not throwing the ball over in the Steelers defense. Big C, your thoughts? He wants them fired still for winning. We know where Terry put his money. Yeah. That is, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So he's got a lot of protection from his offensive line, so he has to self-suppression.
Right.
On the flip side, you look at Cam Newton. He's been sacked the second least amount of times in the NFL this year, Charles.
Yeah.
So his offensive line has been playing out there. The two factors of both of these teams, Charles, that people didn't expect were their offensive line being playing at the level that they are right now.
Yeah.
Cam Newton is really playing at his MVP caliber season that he had.
Yeah.
This team is off to a 6-2 start. The Steelers are 5-3-1.
Yep.
Both of these teams Charles, have the ability to be in the playoffs. I don't know if Carolina will win their division because they're a game behind New Orleans.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh, I know they will win their division, Charles, because
Yeah.
You say you like Pittsburgh in the game. I like Carolina, so we're in odds in that conference.
So we got red wine versus moonshine. Is that what the red wine versus the California red wine versus the southern moonshine? Who gets the best? I hope I win because I don't want to go to sleep drinking your stuff, Dixie. Your thoughts? I feel like Mike Tyson hit me when I go down and sample your libations. Dixie, the NFL, they have already eliminated teams from the playoffs. The 49ers at 2-7, Cardinals 2-6. And Tampa Bay's at 3-5. You look at Detroit. Why did they get rid of Caldwell? It doesn't make any sense. They're 5-3. The Giants, your friend Manning, is 1-7, and the Raiders 1-7. Something comes to my throat every time I talk about what Gruden has done to the Raiders. Denver's 3-6. Indianapolis 3-5. Jacksonville's 3-5. Cleveland 2-6 and 1. To get the tie in there. Buffalo 2-7. And the Jets. People were saying that Sam Darnold is the truth, the new Broadway Joe. Now he's got a Broadway toe. Big see your thoughts? Right. Yep. No. Yeah. 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 He met my cousin. That's how rumors get started. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if he's my cousin and he's sitting at the table for Thanksgiving, my mother might have some explaining to do. She might have some explaining to do back in the day. I want to just jump real quickly to the world of college football. Notre Dame's season might be in jeopardy this week against Florida State. You know, quarterback Ian Book will not play due to a rib injury. And then Brandon Wimbush gets the start. They're going to change their chemistry, Big C. The Dallas Cowboys tried that when they took the Dallas Cowboys were rolling with Dak Prescott back in the day. They went up to Philly, and they put Romo in the game because Jerry Jones was missing something. He kept missing what it's like to win every Sunday. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense, Big C. I want to just get real quick in the final 5 minutes of the program. Some big games, and we'll do it more tomorrow, but big games. And I want to, Big C's big games for college football this weekend coming up. The Big 10, number 10, Ohio State at number 18, Michigan State. In the Big 12, you have Oklahoma State at number 6, Oklahoma. In the ACC, Big C has number 2, Clemson, playing at number 17, Boston College. You gotta watch out for turnovers in that game. And in the Pac-12, number 8, Washington State Cougars at the Magruder Boys in Colorado. Sometimes you know the air's a bit smoky in Colorado. Big C, your thoughts? No pun intended. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Clemson is a team with Trevor Lawrence who loves to throw the ball. This young kid hasn't played in cold weather like that, John.
Yeah.
So, you know, that could present a real challenge. And Boston College can get up for games at that. If you recall, years ago, Doug Flutie was the quarterback when they went in and knocked off the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
Down in Miami. So things can happen with Boston College on the play.
true, Big C.
So, you know, they got to be rewarded this week.
They really need touchdown Jesus. Maybe they'll pray more this weekend, Big C. The tale of two franchises in the NBA. Cleveland Cavaliers now 1-10. The LA Lakers are now 5-6. Opposite, I'm telling you, this is not what Cleveland wanted, but maybe expected, but definitely not what LA wanted or expected, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charles, you know, he was what Tyronn Lue, he's fired.
Yeah.
Fired for what? You got a team that's 1-10, and you saying that he was the reason for that? LA benefited from LeBron James going. Well, when you look at the flipping of those franchises, look at LA's record last year, Kevin. I think they went 7-8 games before they won a game last year.
Yeah.
Last season.
Yeah.
And now they've come out, they won, you know, way more than that already. You know, they're a game under 500 right now. So they're probably ahead of the progress that people expected. But you got to understand, all those players in LA didn't know how to win.
Right.
All those players that Cleveland traded for last year to come in and join LeBron didn't know how to win before they got there. So they're doing what they were used to doing.
That's very true, Big C. I want to, before I give you the Drew Boudini Brown as we close out on this, we want to do instead of saying our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of Southern California, we're going to do an abbreviated show today. But I want to say to everybody, especially the sports leaders and all the people out there singing, hey, this is just a sports program, don't talk about anything else, be dumb and play sports. Sports and politics versus shut up and dribble. Anthony Gonzalez, NFL wide receiver, 34-year-old Republican, defeated Susan Moran Palmer and earned an election into the U.S. House of Representatives. The Sharice David, former MMA fighter, 38-year-old Democrat, upseated Kevin Yoder of Kansas, 3rd Congressional District. Colin Allred, NFL linebacker, now a 35-year-old Democrat, unseated 11th-term Congressman Pete Sessions in the Texas 32nd District. Jim Jordan, Wisconsin wrestler and Ohio State assistant coach, 54-year-old Republican, won re-election in the U.S. House of Representatives, Ohio's 4th District. Jesse White, third baseman, an 84-year-old man, Big C. 84 years old. Sports and politics don't mix. 84 years old. Democrat won his 7th term as Secretary of State of Illinois. Ann Ross, NFL safety, 34. He's only 34 years old. Nonpartisan candidate won an at-large seat in Virginia Beach City Council. Adam Greenberg, Major League Baseball outfielder, 37-year-old Republican, ran to represent District 12 of the Connecticut State Senate. And there's a few more, but just to get your thoughts, Frankie White, Major League Baseball, second baseman, 68-year-old Democrat, easily won re-election in Jackson County, Missouri. 2 more, Napoleon Harris, NFL linebacker, 39 years old, won re-election as a Democratic member of Illinois State Senate. The last one, Clint Dieter, NFL tight end, 59 years old Republican, won his race in Franklin County, Washington. Big C, we're more than just sports people. Sports guys are going to be the vanguards of this country. Sports is the new religion. It's also a part of the new politics. Don't be a sycophant. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what's going on in your sports universe? Yep.
They had sweat running down their face. But now they tried to become a part of their communities and then part of the political arena, Charles. They no longer recognize as people. That lets you know how void the sports broadcasters are now today, Charles.
Yeah.
I hope and I wish that they would have put more emphasis on those individuals that you talked about that chased the realm of politics, that had that afterlife beyond the sports, because they know that sports was only a partial part of life, Charles. But politics are an everyday part of life.
Amen to that, Big C. And again, not only are our thoughts and prayers with the family members who had their victims, the victims are their loved ones. And our thoughts and prayers are not only our thoughts and prayers with you, but we spend a show talking about sports and social justice. You can hear it every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide when you follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C, and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, we thank you We appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.